springtime tips and fun facts from Paul, Kristen, and Dexter at Total Wine & More.
It's peak season for asparagus, which pairs perfectly with a light and crisp rosé.
Many bottles of champagne and sparkling wines are perfect for adult Easter baskets. And they're really cute, too.
My perfect brunch? Belgian waffles with extra whipped cream and a holiday pour of your sweetest rosé.
Whether you're hosting or just bringing the wine, we'd love to share our always low prices and ridiculous selection this spring at Total Wine & More. Cheers!
Feel like asking us some questions? 46862 is the text line. We'll have some time at the end of the show to tackle some pertinent questions if you have them. High school basketball related, hit us up, 46862. We'll get to them toward the end of the show. So any type of questions, looking back, looking ahead, hit us up. Let us know. If you text us right now, 46862, we will ask our first guest your question because he's a wiser mind than I when it comes to area high school basketball. He joins us on the line right now. Mr. Dan Vance, Outside the Huddle. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Justin. How are you?
Not bad, my friend. And let's jump right into it. You and I witnessed another dismantling of an opponent at the hands of Blackhawk Christian last Saturday. Lafayette Central Catholic, the latest victim. We saw that game live and in person up at Elkhart. I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, the game was over at 11-0, and we knew it. Everybody knew it. Even I think LCC fans knew it. But what can you say at this point about how this Blackhawk Christian team's playing now, one game away from their first state title in program history?
Well, they really are just kind of rolling right now. I mean, LCC is not a bad program, not a bad team, and Blackhawk Christian made them look like a JV team. Made it look like it was a practice scrimmage and just ran through them. There's not much you can do when you're another team, when you have a team that is this talented, mixed with the confidence and the ability to play for each other the way Blackhawk Christian's playing right now. It's a perfect mix if you're a team going for a state championship.
And it's a team that no matter who it plays, who gets in foul trouble, who's on the bench, they continue to play better. We saw Caleb First once again battling foul trouble. He was actually sick on Saturday, throwing up before the game, was getting sick at halftime. He was not his usual self in a myriad of different ways. Yet when he checked out, I think LCC felt, at least their fans felt, okay, the big guy's on the bench, now we can get to work. But they just slide Frankie Davidson over there into the middle. They don't miss a beat.
Yeah, and you slide Frankie Davidson over, and you got to slide somebody into Frankie Davidson's role. That's where the Trinity Clark step up. Michael Pulvers came out and scored very well for them, getting into the basket. They just got so many guys, and so many guys that can do so many different things. And I think that's where you're seeing the success difference for Blackhawk Christian this year. Obviously, last year, they were just a game away from state. But even the difference between that team and this team is they were more specialized last year. There were guys that did certain things, and now you have so many guys that can do so many things and fill a variety of roles when needed.
All right, Dan, looking ahead to the opponent coming up on Saturday. It's a team that Blackhawk Christian is familiar with. They've beat Barr-Reeve right around Christmas time, a couple days after Christmas, in overtime in a tournament in southern Indiana. What do we know about Barr-Reeve and the Vikings coming up on Saturday?
Well, if you believe state championships can be won on paper, Blackhawk Christian has this thing in the bag. Numbers-wise, they're stronger in basically every area. They shoot the ball better. In fact, the top shooting player in Barr-Reeve's starting lineup shoots just over 50% from the field. There's 3 Blackhawk Christian starters that shoot better than that. And Abe Hicks is right there at 50% too. So basically 4 guys in the starting lineup for Blackhawk that shoot better. But you can't always win it on paper. And this is a Barr-Reeve team that's going to have huge fan support. They are very physical, defensively tough. It's one of the best defensive teams in the state against Blackhawk, who's one of the best offensive teams in the state. And so that's going to be a really interesting game to be played. And I told you earlier, you and I were talking about it, I think it's a game that's won and lost in the post. Keegan O'Neill's a junior for Barr-Reeve, about 10.6 rebounds a game, but he's very big. He's 6'8", but he is built a lot bigger than Caleb First. If Caleb First can make him come out, to the short corner, to the high post, and take Keegan O'Neill off the dribble, Caleb First is going to be very difficult to stop. He shoots the ball better than Keegan O'Neill does. He rebounds better. But if you get in a situation where Caleb First gets pinned down on the block against Keegan O'Neill, that's really what Barr-Reeve wants.
Dan Vance, Outside Huddle, joining us here on the OPS High School Coaches Show. Dan, I look at this matchup, and you mentioned the defense of Barr-Reeve. They've only allowed 3 teams to score 60 or more points this year. One of those was Princeton, 68 points. That was a 2-overtime win for Barr-Reeve, 70-68. The other 2 are the only 2 losses for Barr-Reeve. Atlinton Stockton, early in the year, dropped a 63-59 decision. And then Blackhawk Christian dropping 76 points on Barr-Reeve. Can Barr-Reeve get enough defensive stops against this offensive juggernaut of Blackhawk Christian?
They're really going to have to be able to produce offensively, I think. I think we've seen so much Blackhawk Christian lets their defense, and especially their press and their pressure, convert to easy offense, and that's what they're going to want to do. So Barr-Reeve, if they're going to play good defense, they need to get into a half-court set, which means they need to score. They need to score and be able to get back and set up their half-court defense and really try to slow Blackhawk Christian down. That's got to be the goal, but that's easier said than done. We've seen it so many times this year. Blackhawk just takes teams out of their game plan. Like you said, that first game, I know it's overtime, but still a 76-68 game, that's not what Barr-Reeve wants. They have won 26 games. 11 of those games have been by 10 points or less. They're comfortable playing close games, but those close games really need to be in the 40s and low 50s. If this game gets to a upper 50s into the 60s, that's where Barr-Reeve's going to have some problems.
All right, Dan, plain and simple, if Blackhawk Christian plays to its potential, like we've seen the last couple weeks against the likes of Argus and Lafayette Central Catholic, does Barr-Reeve have any chance on Saturday?
I don't think so. I think that when you look back, and even you look at that 8-point overtime win they have over Barr-Reeve, and they beat Barr-Reeve the last 2 seasons in a row since they started going down to that tournament in North Davies around Christmas time, have beat them in the finals of that tournament both years, and really is what helped establish Blackhawk Christian these last 2 years is arguably the best team in 1A, even if they didn't make a state finals last year, and really pushed them to the top of every poll and every opinion in 1A this year. But that game you're looking at, Caleb First had barely been back from a broken hand. Michael Pulver had barely been back. So you had a lot of rust, I think, in that game even still. I think that Blackhawk Christian, not just on paper, after watching back film of that first game this week against Barr-Reeve, I just think there's such a disparity in the skill level, and I don't think Barr-Reeve has the ability to shoot the ball well enough, and they're definitely not on the athletic level that Blackhawk Christian is. That said, bigger venue, bigger floor, it's state, you throw a lot of things out the window, but honestly, I think Blackhawk Christian is light years ahead if they play their best game.
Dan, some other news in high school basketball around as we kind of look for other things to talk about with just one team playing this weekend from the area. Indiana Junior All-Stars were named today. We had some representation from the area named to that team.
Yeah, Charlie Yoder from Westview named to the core team. So with the Indiana Junior All-Stars, you have a core team of 6 players that will play in all 3 exhibition games against the Indiana Junior All-Stars and then against the Kentucky All-Stars. And then you have 3 separate kind of regional groups. They didn't name them after regions this year. We call them red, white, and blue for some reason. But a northern, a central, and a southern team. So Charlie Yoder on that core team, he'll play in all 3 games. And then Zach Kruger from Homestead with the red group, so he'll get a chance to play in one of those Indiana Junior All-Star games.
And the Indiana Senior All-Stars for the girls have been named, right, but not the boys?
Yeah, the girls have been named. Carissa Garcia and Sydney Freeman getting to play on that team, but the boys will still here be a couple weeks. They still have a top 60 workout to get in before they name that.
And if we were laying bets on any local players that would be in contention for that All-Star team, who would you lay money on?
I think there's 4 guys that you'd have to consider at this point. Obviously, Craig Young and Ali were junior All-Stars a year ago, so they have a lot of name recognition, especially Craig with his athletic skill set, and a lot of people know about him from all of his sports. But I think that if I was picking 2, and with no offense to Craig and Ali, I'm taking Frankie Davidson and I'm taking Sydney Curry. I think the 2 of them played very well this year. I was really impressed with how Sydney came back to sanctioned basketball, I guess we'd call it that, from Horizon Christian after being gone for 2 years. And Frankie has just played outstanding basketball, been arguably the most consistent player in the area this year. You don't see a lot of 1A kids get a chance on the Indiana All-Stars, but I think he's one that's definitely deserved it. But I think that those four, I think any of the four of them have a chance at being named. I doubt we'll go all four of them, but maybe two.
All right, Dan, before we let you go, let us know what's new at OutsideTheHuddle.net.
Well, obviously, we talked to Zach and Kruger and Charlie Yoder about being named Indiana Junior All-Stars. Today, Bounce has his kind of postseason awards going on. We have our fan vote going on for the fans vote for the Boys Basketball Player of the Year. That first round wraps up tomorrow at noon, but that voting keeps going on for the next couple of weeks. And a lot of Blackhawk Christian stuff. Good story about Abe Hicks, interesting story about him and how he's become a big part of this Blackhawk Christian team. And then we'll have some more Blackhawk Christian preview coverage coming up tomorrow and Friday, and then full coverage from Bankers Life Fieldhouse on Saturday.
Dan, before we let you go, I wanted to hit you with this question because we've heard it for a while that, man, Blackhawk Christian, right? 10 years ago, they were an afterthought, really. Now they're a power in the city. Is there any one or two things you attribute that to? Is it Mark Davidson's program building? Is it something else? Is it the spread out of talent in the area? I mean, are there any things you can pinpoint that a 1A school has become a power in the last couple of years in Northeast Indiana?
I think you can attribute some of it to the talent being spread out, but, and you and I have talked about this, Justin, it's so different. The environment at Blackhawk Christian is so different. They had a pep rally today for their entire student body to come and kind of wish the team well before state this weekend. It's a community. It's like a small-town community, but with those players, they buy into each other. They trust each other. I'm not going to say there's no egos because they're teenagers and there's egos, but they don't let egos get in the way of what they're doing. There's not infighting. It's just a group of kids that really enjoys playing together and playing for each other. I don't think we see that enough, and I think that you got to give definitely some credit to Mark Davidson, some credit to athletic director Joel Cotton for the environment. Kids want to go there and they want to win, but they want to win for each other, and you don't see that a lot of places, so that's got to have a lot to do with it.
It is refreshing for sure to be talking to these guys, talk to Mark Davidson. It's just it's been a pleasure all season long, and hopefully they can get another win on Saturday. Dan, always a pleasure. I will catch you on Saturday, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, my friend.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
All right.
This is firefighter Raphael Porriette for Firehouse Subs. Introducing new Firehouse Pairs. Pair your favorite small sub with a signature side, like the awesome 5-cheese mac and cheese. And remember, a portion of every purchase at Firehouse Subs goes towards helping first responders. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. Participating locations only. Firehouse Subs will donate a minimum of $1 million in 2019 to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation by donating 0.11% of every purchase.
Podcasts by Federated Media. Podcasts by Federated Media.